The year was 1905, and at the age of 22, Maud Broadwick had accomplished more in her life than most women. She and her husband were stars in a nationwide carnival and were considered expert aeronauts and stunt performers. We'll learn about their story next, under the kudzu. Not a very common term today, an aeronaut is a pilot of a lighter-than-air craft such as a balloon. Balloons have been around since 1783. Ballooning is more of a pastime now, something that happens at fairs and festivals, much the same as the carnivals in the late 19th and early 20th century. Balloons were never really useful for long trips and crossing great distances, but still they captured the public's imagination. It was, after all, a balloon that carried Professor Oscar Z. Diggs from Kansas to Oz in the classic children's series. From the Civil War to the Wright brothers' flight in 1903, the only way a person could fly was to float up in the air using a lighter-than-air ship. Balloons became thrilling attractions for carnival goers and mainstays of carnival companies. One such company was the Redl Carnival Company. During the first decade of the 1900s, Maud Broadwick and her husband Charles were a main attraction in Redl's company. The Broadwick stunt involved being taken via hot air balloon to a height of about 300 feet, while standing on a trapeze tethered to the balloon. She would release herself from the balloon and then safely parachute to the ground. Both Charles and Maud had performed this stunt many times and were considered among the best aeronauts in the country. The complexity and daring of the stunt made the Broadwicks the top attraction at Redl's. Unfortunately, something went terribly wrong on November 3rd, 1905. The Redl Carnival had arrived in Anderson on November 1st for a week-long engagement. They occupied nearly all of Buena Vista Park, a local recreational spot for Andersonians. For most of the week, the Broadwicks had been arguing, but each afternoon at 4 o'clock, they put aside their arguments and performed their aerial stunts to the wonder and applause of the crowd. On November 3rd at 3:30, Maud Broadwick donned her spangled costume and prepared her parachute. The large hot air balloon nearby was filling with heated air made from a wood fire in the balloon's basket. Just before 4, Charles approached Maud. What he said was not heard, but witnesses reported that Maud's words to him were, "This will be my last ascension." Maud and Charles Broadwick had known each other since she was 8 and began traveling with Charles and his sister Jeanette. In 1890, at the age of just 15, Maud watched Jeanette parachute from a balloon as part of a carnival in Kenosha, Wisconsin, when she became entangled in her chute. Landing in a tree, Jeanette was safe but unable to make the second jump. Charles offered to make the jump, but the carnival management declined. The contract specified a female jumper. Maud volunteered. Charles took some convincing, but eventually agreed, and Maud Broadwick made her first jump. She repeated this stunt 28 times before her fateful performance in Anderson. On this cool November day, standing on her trapeze, Maud gave her signal, shouting, "Let's go!" At her signal, 10 strong men holding ropes let them go, and Maud and the hot air balloon began to quickly rise. It was soon apparent to everyone below that something was wrong. Maud's arm became tangled in the ropes attached to her parachute, and she began to call to Charles for help. Suddenly, Maud fell to the ground as the shocked crowd watched. Over 1,000 spectators saw her fall, and many turned out for her funeral, held the next day at Silverbrook Cemetery. The tombstone features an open gate carving, symbolizing the passage from earth to heaven, and the following inscription: Maud Broadwick, born September 22, 1875. Fell from a balloon in Buena Vista Park and was instantly killed, November 3rd, 1905. Maud's final words, "This will be my last ascension," proved not only prophetic, but damning. While officially ruled an accident, many involved with the carnival believed it was suicide. Regardless of the cause, Maud's death was the first aerial fatality in South Carolina's history. My name is Brian Scott, and I hope you enjoyed learning about Maud Broadwick. Stay tuned for next week as we explore more under the kudzu.